So welcome everybody. Um, this is a unique class, and let me tell you all the different ways that it is. First of all, it's not just one class, it's three classes. This is Humanities 25, Motion Picture Production. It's MCTV 6, Audio Production, and it's MCTV 26, Introduction to Cinematography. They're all grouped together. And the reason we do this is because it allows students to take the class multiple times. Each time you're going to focus on something. If you're in audio production, we're going to want you to learn the mixer and do some boom and really be involved on the day that we do Foley and ADR. And you will become the audio expert. So at the end of the semester, you will be the person who's teaching, training next semester's students. If you're in the motion picture production class, that's kind of, you learn everything and you got to try everything. And then if the MCTV 26, that's when we're going to want you to really master the RED camera. I'll talk about that a lot. But you need to be an expert in the lighting equipment because you will be a gaffer. You need to learn to be a cinematographer, and you got to work your way up from second AC to first AC to camera operator, and then and or DP. And so there are kind of different roles for those different classes, but you can do them all. And if you are a film major, you should do them all. In fact, we force a lot of our film majors to take acting for film and television. Because even if you just want to be a director or just be a cinematographer or work with audio or be an editor, it's good to understand all the different departments. And acting is a huge part of filmmaking. So that's why a lot of our film majors, we kind of insist that they take the acting for film and television class. So anyways, we're going to be doing a lot this semester. And so 3 classes in one, that's unique. Another thing that's unique is that there are 2 instructors. I'm Grant Richards. I will be here every single day. I'm a full-time instructor at Gavilan. I've been here for approaching 30 years. But I am the head of the film and television department program. And I am one of the 2 instructors. The other one, Tim Allen, is a part-time instructor. And he's not here now, but he will be here in an hour or 2. Tim is an amazing addition to this class because he works in the industry. He has a production job, that's where he is right now. He's filming for his other job. And so we've got this contemporary producer who works with us. But his emphasis is going to be online. So for those of you, Cody, Enos, Catherine, Noah, and others, Tim is going to be your go-to person. If you have questions, he will be the one that you reach out to first. Tim, when we start filming, Tim we shoot BTS, behind the scenes footage of everything that we shoot. Tim will upload that footage and narrate it. So he will give you your lessons. If we're doing a Steadicam shot and we're filming us assembling the Steadicam and then doing those shots, Tim will take that footage and talk about it. And he'll say, this is how they balance and this is why they do this shot, and et cetera. So Tim will narrate those. If you're not here with us, your job is to watch those BTS videos that he uploads. That's how you're going to learn. But for those of you who are here, I believe that you learn much more by doing than you do by reading about it. If you want, I can recommend a great textbook or 2 about filmmaking. But I don't think you're going to get as much out of reading about it as you will be handling the camera or adjusting the lights or all those things that happen when we're actually making movies. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to spend a couple weeks crash course on a few elements. There are lots of seats. And we will continue to explain and teach things at home for those of you who are taking the class online. But starting in week 5 and for the rest of the semester, all we're going to do is make movies. That's all we do is, every week or two, we're going to be shooting something different. And we have a horror film, we have a comedy, and then I know a lot of other films that are in the works. We're going to talk about that. But so you're going to get the opportunity to act in one, or be the gaffer and adjust the lights in another, or work on the audio crew and boom or mix, or maybe you're in art production and you're working with the set design or doing costumes, or I mean, there's a ton of jobs. We're going to actually go through all the jobs today, on a film set, and there's so much to do, and I'm hoping that you get to try all of it. The one job that there's real competition is for directing. And a lot of people think filmmaking, directing, I want to do that. I'm going to talk about it first because it's a little more scary than you think. Tim and I are here to help you, but there's an extreme amount of responsibility. You're going to be sitting here and you're in charge of all the other departments, and you have to plan in a lot and be in charge and all of that. So we'll talk about all the different jobs, but I'm hoping you get to try everything. Now, it's a large class. Large meaning a lot of students. Sometimes you have to push your way to the front to make sure you get to do the things you want to try. Approach me or Tim or some of the more advanced students. And when I mean advanced, there are some students like Jason Braulio, others who take, how many times have you taken the class? I think I've only went. Yeah, so, and he's a red expert, so he's going to be the cinematographer, or at least the head of the camera department for a lot of the projects. But go talk to Jason, get on his good side, and he will help you, teach you the red and give you, there are lots of chairs. Yeah, so anyways, work to get to do the things that you want to try, and you should try everything. You should not be here and say, I only want to do this. It'd be great that you get to do the thing that you love multiple times, but try a variety of things, because there is kind of a lot to do. So in that way, the class is unique. Another way is the class is dual modality. Did I already talk about that a little bit? So you can be here, like all of you sitting here in the studio with us now. And that's fantastic. I think it's the best way to learn. This might not be convenient. Last semester, we had someone who was in Hollywood, and they heard about our program. And so they took our class here and took it online. That's not a very easy commute to be here every week. So you can do that, or you have another class or another job, or it's just not convenient, or for whatever reason, you can take the class online, or you can do a combination. For example, on the schedule already, there's going to be a Saturday that we shoot. We're going to shoot out of town. We're going to shoot over at Sunset Beach because there's a scene required over there. I'm not expecting anyone to drive all the way over to the coast. But if you want to come, there's going to be a smaller crew, and you'll get to do some cool things. But There'll be our class will not always be at 10 o'clock in the morning. When we start shooting, Chelsea's not here, is she? Chelsea's shooting a film. It's a horror film, and we're shooting at night. Well, we're going to start probably if her film is just before Halloween. I think we're shooting October 25th. So we'll probably meet at 4 and get set up. And then by the time it gets dark, then we start shooting. And so on that particular day, our class will be shot in the evening, after dark. So there are chairs. There's one here. There's a whole stack of them. I'm sorry that there's not a lot of room. Okay, so just to let you know that if you look on the webpage under week 1, there is the class schedule. It is something I change all the time. I'm constantly updating it because as we get new projects or shooting times, I will put times, days, locations, up on there. So I know that some of you won't be able to make it because we will be shooting at a time when you have work. Yes. I will be updating it all the time. I will update it certainly later. I updated it last night. I updated it again this morning, and I updated it again. I will update it later today, I'm sure. Keep checking it because it's yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not going to plan a shoot without it on the schedule for a few weeks at least. I'm not going to say, oh, hey, tomorrow we're shooting at this time. This is not how I operate. This feels very uncomfortable for me. If you look at any of my other classes, every single thing we do for the entire semester is laid out. So this is really uncomfortable for me. But I can't say we're shooting these films because I don't know who wants to direct, who's ready with a screenplay, so there's a lot of to be announced on the schedule. But it will be filled in as soon as I know. We're having a pitch meeting today, and then we're having our final pitch meeting in a week. And so after that, I'm hoping everybody will be all the projects will be on the schedule. But even then, things will change. So, for example, we're when that one scene that I said we're shooting out of town, we're shooting at my parents' beach house, and they might say, nope, we're using it that day. Oh, scramble. Okay, we're going to have to shoot on Sunday instead of Saturday, or we're going to shoot a week early, or so things come up. We want a sunset. What if it's foggy that day? So then we scramble and make a change. So things like that happen all the time in filmmaking. And so I will constantly be updating. So even though we might have things on the schedule, things change. There's occasionally a project gets dropped and a new one gets added. I'm hoping that we can lock it all in next week and plan all our locations, but that's not likely. So, but anyways, I update it whenever the tiniest little change. We're starting an hour earlier or later. I make that change, and I write on the schedule. If you're at home and you're looking at the production schedule under week 1, it says last updated, and I put the date so you know when's the last time I made a change, and that's always there for you to see. The other thing I wanted to say is, and don't take this as that. Tim and I give you our numbers, and we're not. Text us if you say, hey, you say we're meeting at your house, but what's your address? Hey, okay, because we are shooting at my house several times. But if you have questions, feel free to text us. If you do, I prefer that you text over call, especially because if we're filming, I won't answer a phone because of the sound. But also it's often just easier. I'm in class or whatever. But do feel free to reach out to us, especially on the days of shoots. I'm going to be 5 minutes late. There's traffic or whatever. But we do give our cell numbers out to our filmmaking students. So you do have it, and a lot of you will text, and so you can reach us. I check my email a lot every day, except for Fridays, because I'm on set and I'm usually not in front of my computer. So most times you can email me and I'll get right back to you, but not so much on Fridays because I don't have my emails go to my phone. So I have to have my computer. So I don't know, other things about the class, questions that you have at home or here. What questions do you have? Not all at once. Come on. Yeah. A couple are, but not necessarily. We're having a pitch session. So there are two people who have reached out to me ahead of time. Actually, four, but two I'm waiting on their scripts to finalize. But Jason is going to be the first film that we shoot. His screenplay's done. He's done pre-production. There are aliens in it. He's already bought and made the costumes and weapons. He has made numerous films for our class, and I know that he will have his shot list ready. He will have his crew ready, and so it's a good place to start. It's actually a 3-day shoot. The first one's right here in the TV studio, so it's a nice place to start. It's an Access Hollywood scenes and interviews, and so it's nice that we started in the TV studio. Then we're shooting several scenes at my house here in town, and then on that Saturday, that we're going to shoot a Friday, Saturday, it's out of town. So that has all been pre-planned. He's been working all summer preparing for it. And then Chelsea said that she wanted to shoot a horror film, and I thought, hey, let's shoot a horror film as close to Halloween as possible. So on October 25th, we're going to shoot it. Her screenplay's done, all set, and we're already talking about casting and such. So those are the two that are ready now, and you just kind of have to some final details and shot lists. But the rest are up for grabs. I know that Marty's screenplay is done. Marty's not here yet, is she? She was here yesterday. But her screenplay's done. Her screenplay is really complex. Well, she's going to shoot part of it this semester on the last day and then shoot the rest over winter break and then next semester. So, and Marty last semester won Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Picture. So she was walking out of the showcase with a wheelbarrow. Oh yeah. So and she's a film major. She's already has her BA in film production. So she's amazing. Those three are locked kind of for sure. Braulio's got his screenplay concept, but he hasn't submitted it quite. Okay, almost done. Braulio won the Gavi for Best New Filmmaker. That's right. Yeah, last semester. So so those are the four people I know of. Everyone else has to pitch. And when we pitch, you're pitching both to Tim and me. You're pitching to me because I'm funding it. I'm producing the film. School gives me not a penny. I don't get anything. So it's my money that pays for actors, or it's every single thing is my equipment. Oftentimes it's my location. So you're pitching me because if I love it, then I get excited about it, and then I want to make it. But you're also pitching the class because if the movies that everyone here are interested in are the movies that we want to make. The movie last semester that got me so excited was Marty's film, Witch. It was a it took Salem witch trials. So it took place in 1692. So it was all period piece costumes, but then there was special effects and monsters, and it were different locations. And I was so excited about it. The class was so excited about it. And so it made it a great project. So the things that get us excited, but there's got to be things that we can do. So if your film is a spaceship it's the main character is Xenon, and they're, we not likely to build a spaceship and have, so things that are possible, things that we can do. The directors basically get a day. So if you give me a 20-page screenplay, we can't do it. It's typically somewhere in the range of 2 to 6 pages is what we can do in a day. And if your project's amazing, we might be able to do a Friday, Saturday, but beyond that, I can't give 2 days to multiple directors, or unless there's nobody who wants to be a director in here, and then we can. But so that pitch session is going to happen at the end of our class today, and then we're going to finalize some things next Friday. So, yeah. Anything else about the class? Questions you have? Yeah.
May I have people to volunteer to be actors as well?
Absolutely. So we teach in acting for film and television in class. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're encouraging all those actors to act for our productions. But anyone in here who wants to act, the thing that you should do is approach the directors. Now, you only know who 2 are now, and eventually, Braulio. But eventually there's going to be 10, 11 directors. You have to approach them and say, hey, I act. I would really love to be in your film. And they might ask you to audition or whatever. But I love it when we cast within the class. So yes, you can absolutely get in front of the camera as well. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about, just to get this out of the way, the grading. All my classes are based on 1,000 points. If you want an A, I want everyone to get an A. You need 920 points. 500 points are participation. So if you're coming and to the shoots, you're mixing and booming and directing and working with the lights and all of that, you will earn your 500 points pretty easily. There are people like Daniel, who one of the first to come every shoot, and he never leaves. My wife has to say, Daniel, go home. He wants to move into our spare bedroom. And so we don't have to think about it. Daniel gets his 500 points easily. If you're at home, you have to make an effort to get those points. That's watching the BTS and commenting and interacting with your classmates and Tim at home. We want to make sure that you're actually watching. Tim will he'll drop comments in the BTS to make sure you're watching. So you got to watch all the way through, but then interact, and that's how you'll earn those 500 points. The other thing that you have to do is everyone in here will make a movie. So your film might not be one of our class projects with all the pressure and all of that. But if you don't do that, you still have to make a movie of your own that we will watch at the end of the semester. That project is worth 300 points. Now, you can make it by yourself, or you can team up with others. Everyone in here will have skills working with cameras and such. You can also team up. So if the 4 of you want to work together on your film, you can, and that will be your film. If you are the director or one of the major players, an AD, DP, or the starring actor in one of the films, you can count that as your film, if that makes sense. But everyone in here has to make a film this semester. And then the last 200 points is the final exam. And if you come, hey, there's Marty. There are no chairs for you, so you got to come sit up with me. Sorry. If the final exam, if you take the class online, there is a test that you can take there online. But we are going to meet on Friday, December 13th here, and it's a party. We're going to have lots of food. I will ask, I can't remember if it's two questions. Three questions. In the class this size, it might be two. But if you answer the questions, that's it. You get an A. It's a lot harder at home. Sorry, it's an actual multiple choice test. But you can come, even if you can't come all semester. If you come to the final exam, you can come to the party and watch the movies and take our oral test. But it's a party. We get to watch what we've been making all semester and take this oral fun test and have our party. So that's the 1,000 points. 920 or more gets you an A. 700 or more gets you a C. So easy. Okay. Do you want to talk about the showcase? Yeah. So every year, and if you're in the studio, if you look at the wall as you're walking up the stairs to the right, are all the plaques. Every year we have a showcase. The best films of the year are shown in the theater. We have a large audience, hundreds of people come. We have an award ceremony at the end, and that's what those plaques are, the nominees. And the winners win Gavies. Will you go grab the Martin? So the winners get these Gavies, and Jason's bringing the trophy so you can see. Martin Scorsese wouldn't accept his award. So this is it. I don't know if you can read that, but anyways, this is the award type of thing that you win for best picture. But no, yeah, pass it around. Let people see it. So best picture, best director, best screenplay, best editing, best cinematographer, best actor, best actress, best. We always then have an original one, best new filmmaker or best. We did best hair and makeup one year. We did best choreographer one year. We've done. So anyways, it's our award ceremony. It's a big deal. Lots of people come. The president came this year and the projector was really bad and he was disappointed. So they just bought a $80,000 projector for next year. And they got a new sound system in. So it's going to be a much better event this next year. What you asked about is we're talking about having a fall showcase now. We have so many amazing films and not enough time to screen them all. So we're going to have alumni films and films that are ready to be screened. And if they're good enough, then they get a second screening in the spring. But those that were shot near the end of the semester, of the spring semester, will get to run. We don't know the date yet. I'm not positive we're going to even do it in the theater. We might do it in SS214, but we will have a showcase. We make movies so people can watch them. So that's a big deal. Anyways, hope that answered that question. Any other questions about the class? None? Okay. No questions at home either. Let's talk about the jobs on set. I want to get through this so you have an idea of what we will be doing. And then the last part of the class, we're going to have our pitch session, and I'm not sure. I'm still going to Zoom that, but we'll see. But let's start with the jobs on set. Marty has to come up. Jason has to come up. Who else feels comfortable talking about jobs? Okay. Come up here.
Sure.
Yeah. I invited these two, and I had no idea. Marty, I'm sure, really happy about this. They're the most experienced filmmakers we have in our program. This is the third time they've taken the class, if not more. They are very experienced filmmakers. Marty's a highly decorated filmmaker, so is Jason. They both they earn money. They get jobs editing and producing and making videos and working. So they're good to talk about the jobs as well. So they're going to jump in and answer questions as well. So, okay, the jobs. What's the number one job the boss on set? Who's yeah, who's the boss on set? Yeah. That seems right. Yeah. The producer. The producer is the one who hires the director. And there are stories in Hollywood of producers firing directors for whatever reason. So I in this class for our projects am the producer. I'm the one who's paying for things. I'm the one who's providing equipment and arranging and overseeing things. I hate the job, so anyone want to join me? I would love, if you want co-producer credit and work with me, I would love it. What? You have to help pay.
Yeah, you do that, but you make a percentage off of the movie, but there's no profit off it, so you make nothing.
But if you want to learn it, a lot of people go in the industry as producers and they're set for life. They make a lot of money. They have a lot of influence. And so if you're interested in doing that and want to co-produce with me, great. Okay, so that's the business end of it. What's the next level down? The director. The director has complete creative control. The director's in charge of all the departments and is the one who directly communicates with the actors to get the performance that he or she they want out of the actors. So both of these two have been the directors. Let's talk about your experiences of directing here at Gavel. What does it entail? How rewarding is it? How difficult is it? How time consuming is it?
Very.
So I'll tell you, Marty did something that I had never seen before with her last film, Blueberry. It's the job of the director to plan your shots. Oftentimes they do storyboarding. Have you heard of that? Where you have still images of your frames, for each shot you're going to do. And I've seen that a lot. Marty, who is an incredibly great drawer, filmed her storyboard and then put it together in the duration of the shots for the films. And so she had a movie done before she shot a single thing on set. Right? It was amazing. She had a movie before she ever did a movie.
It keeps me sane to know exactly what the pacing is going to be and to have that on mind. The director of photography finds it really helpful to have the storyboard like printed out on page to know exactly like kind of what they have to do.
Yeah, no, definitely like ease of use of other people in different categories. So like, because I've been working on The Witch VFX, and so trying to figure out what she wants to have on the video, right? It helps with the animation and the simulations that I've been trying to run. And instead of just trying to have maybe my interpretation from the screenplay itself.
Yeah. You had a,
Animatic.
you had a,
Yeah.
you had a question?
Yeah. How do you deal with it if the actors and people on set you're working with can't give you the feel of the atmosphere you want in your
Marty does rehearsals.
Yeah.
So before the day of, she knows what the strengths and weaknesses of her actors are.
Work around that on the day of the set.
I almost feel like we should show that opening sequence of The Witch, but I was blown away by the performances she got out of all of her actors on the day. I think they were all good actors, but they were so incredibly good. And I say this in part because she wrote in Old English. So thy and thee and thou, it was not an easy performance, and yet, holy cow, they were great. And that was rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that
in rehearsals, if I see somebody struggling with a very specific thing, like capturing what you said, the atmosphere and vibe, I will adjust accordingly to what it seems like they are comfortable with. Like if you're okay with Jason, he was having a lot of trouble with the thees and the thighs, so I actually adjusted his line so that way it still sounded Old English, but it rolled off the tongue better for him, and he got through it with that adjustment.
It's Marty writes, directs, and she's then also very close with her cast and crew, and so it works. That's not always the thing that you do, and if you're paying, a lot of times, if an actor can't get it done, you recast. But Marty, does such a great job working with her actors. A lot of work though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, having rehearsals takes time. It's not something we do here. It's something directors do with their actors outside of our time. Other questions about the jobs of the director? Things you guys want to share?
I think they do anything.
No,
time consuming.
Yeah, definitely.
There will be a lot of pressure involved. Now, Tim and I and some of the advanced students will help you, but there is a lot of responsibility. You can't just show up and say action and that's it. You have to storyboard, shot list. You have to do rehearsals. You have to work with, and if you do something like, we didn't have someone doing costumes, so Marty did all of the costume, not the main villain, but all the period piece costumes, and so it was a ton of planning and work on her part to be ready to shoot, and then it was how many days of shooting?
3 days.
3 days and then a pickup.
Yeah.
2 days and a pickup.
2 days and a pickup.
I can't remember. There's many pickup days.
But all of that stuff is planned, and then we're going to talk about the next position. But you got to be incredibly organized about the order in which you shoot things, because sometimes someone has death makeup on, and then they have to be clean, and then they have to be, then this actor has to leave. They have a hard out at a certain time, and so you have to plan all of that.
It's a job that I'm learning more and more, is that you have to, it's good to have like getting started with directing, you understand the pacing and stuff, but you learn more and more of like different categories. So like I've never done costume design or prop design, and so I've been learning and trying to figure out how to get a certain like aesthetic.
Why are you learning, Jason?
For behind the scenes as like the costume design for the aliens, and so like
What is behind the scenes, Jason?
so behind the scenes is, do we want to go into that? Okay. So behind the scenes is it's a movie within a movie. So we're filming like a crew that they're filming a movie. So like Tropic Thunder, there's probably better examples, but
It's the movie he will be shooting in a few weeks.
Yes.
He's directing, but there are aliens.
Yes.
There are 8
yes
aliens
Yeah.
in the film.
Yeah.
8.
We're doing
Yeah,
multiple.
too.
We're just gonna replicate.
He wants a whole lot of blood.
Yeah.
But so he's having to come up with all the costumes and
special effects,
Yeah.
like practical stuff. So like using blue blood instead of using corn syrup and like a chocolate syrup mix. I don't want that cleanup because it's gonna be really sticky, and I don't want to get around Grant's house and just so blue soap, you know, and I'm gonna dye the soap a little bit, and so it has a very viscous look already to it, and so adding a little bit of dye to it, it would show up a little bit better on camera. And so that's one of the things that they use in movies, because if it gets stuck on clothes, it's easy to wash off too. So it doesn't stain.
The main point is that it's his film, but he's doing costume and he's doing a lot of planning ahead of time because there's a lot involved. So I'm not trying to scare you away from it, but just know the time commitment involved in being a director. You got to love it. You got to work at it. And it could be extremely rewarding, though.
No, like it's out of all the effort that you put in, it's seeing the final result of all the post-production, pre-production. It's so rewarding, and you appreciate the people's work that from your DP, your AD, your PAs, and all that stuff. There's a certain emotion that you get out of all your effort.
For perspective, my like for the Blueberry and Witch, my life did revolve around the preparing for the film for about like 4 to 5 weeks prior, just like planning the shot list, doing storyboard, costuming, and everything. It was very crunch for like a month before we actually started shooting.
Yeah. Okay. Unless there are any questions about directors, the next, and I'm going by the rank of importance. If you look at titles, who wins? If a picture wins Best Picture, who collects the award? The best movie of the year. The Academy Award for Best Picture is the producer. Then the winner of the Best Director. Then the next on the title cards are screenwriter. In the 20s, 30s, 40s, and early 50s, the screenwriter is way, way, way down, but now the writers become more important. And I, as a writer, think that it's very important that you start with a solid script. Doesn't matter how great your actors and your cinematographer and your director is, if you have a bad story, you're not going to have a good movie. So, that's an important one. I would love anyone who wants to write a screenplay for us to shoot, be involved with giving you feedback and making sure you're following the format and all of that. But I don't want to spend time with that. Just know that screenwriting, we have a whole class devoted just to screenwriting. It's particularly important to getting good movies at the end. The great thing is that we have some directors who also write, who are incredibly good. So there are some of you in here like Marty who are writers, and if you want their feedback, Braulio is an ideas machine. He can come up every 30 seconds, he's got another movie idea. So if you want to talk ideas or scripts or whatever, there's some people, either Tim or me or Marty or others in here who can help you with that. I'm love to write. So if you want a screenplay, I'm happy to write one for you if you want to direct too. So come talk to me. The next level, the next position I want to talk about is assistant director. We call him an AD. What exactly is the job of an AD? Yeah. The assistant director is technically the boss on set. And it is oftentimes the heavy on set. It is the assistant director to set the schedule and keep the schedule. If we have 20 shots to do in 3 hours, and there's time in between shots to change lights and move things around, that's incredibly tight. And it's the job of the assistant director to keep the schedule. That's hard. First of all, if you ever watch what's Sam's film class by Sam, Grady acts as kind of as a joke in the set. I'm sorry the language. He's a total asshole when he's yelling and screaming and smashing things. And that's kind of a caricature of it. But you have to be the one who, you cannot be assistant director this semester if you don't have the gumption, the personality to keep people focused.
A little bit of
yeah. Because what's going to happen is you're all cool people. You love movies and television shows, and you want to start talking about them. And then you start talking about Alien and or whatever movies that you love. And then you lose focus. And now you have a bunch of conversations. And now we're no longer making a movie because people are all chatting and talking. It's the AD's job to say, okay, time's up. Let's go. Next shot. And so that's the day of. The assistant director also has to meet with the director in advance to get the shot list and plan the schedule. And it's incredibly complex. If we only have Sierra on Monday or on Friday, but she's in 3 scenes, we're going to have to shoot all of her. So we're going to have to do a set change. And then so-and-so has to leave, or we really want to get the shot with the sunset going down, or there's so many logistics and planning everything and keeping us on schedule.
And then in Hollywood sets, there's like 3 ADs usually, or like how many ADs?
There's an AD, and then the AD has assistants.
Yeah. There's a bunch of those guys.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you got the director as like the artist, and then you have the logistics person beneath them. So trying to figure out the planning and all that.
For perspective, again, for like Braulio's film, for example, your film was like, how long's how
many shots?
How long was it?
10 pages.
10 pages for like a 10-minute film. We spent like 5-6 hours just making that schedule.
It started off as 80 shots and then 40 shots.
So to plan 40 shots was 5 to 6 hours of just like on that Discord call. Being like, okay, well, what's the order we got to do?
No, it's just props to freaking art to do your organization. How quick you are with it.
The organization, you have to be organized as an AD. You can't not be organized.
Well, not even that. Like I remember we were on set for my short, and some things changed last minute on the spot, and Marty quickly adapted and just changed the schedule, moved things up ahead because we were up ahead or we were on schedule. It's crazy. Did you?
I have, but it wasn't really intensive or anything. It was Tim's.
Not his stretch,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing too that is, who says quiet on the set, roll camera, roll audio? It's not the director. Yeah, the director says action and cut. That's it. It's the AD who gets everybody to shut up and turn off or silence their cell phones, who tells the audio to roll and the camera the DP to roll. So you're kind of the boss on set. The creative control all comes from the director, but the AD is the one who's kind of in charge. So yeah, very important position. And if you're good at it, you'll get a lot. You'll get asked to do it a lot. So that's kind of cool. Script supervisor, continuity director, scripty, all the same job. What is that person's job? Right. Yeah.
Maintaining accuracy with the script and continuity with shots. So like if a cup is on a table or placed on a table during one shot, and then they either go back in time, that cup needs to no longer be on the table, or if they move forward with the shot, that cup needs to stay where it was. Otherwise, it'll be jarring to the audience. Yeah,
continuity is making sure that scenes look the same throughout the film, and so things match. I'll give you a bad example of something that happened in one of my feature films. There were multiple classroom scenes, and we shot them all in 2 days, but our lead actress had different costumes, and we were shooting them out of order. And so she shot wearing this kind of hot pink shirt, blouse with long sleeves. And then at the end of that, it was a night class. And at the end, she was walking with the professor to the parking lot. And suddenly she had a light pink short sleeve shirt on. And I didn't realize this until post because our script supervisors didn't catch it. It cost about $8,000 to have someone digitally change the color of her shirt and add sleeves. So, and every time I watch it, the scene bugs me. I don't like it. But it's a very important scene, and it was kind of at sunset, and so it's beautifully shot, but her dang blouse wasn't right. And so it save you money. It can, on Marty's film, one of the actors was wearing gloves, and then suddenly he was shooting a gun without gloves, and so then we had to go and do a pickup, a reshoot, to make sure that he had his gloves back on or off.
He had the gloves on, then we justified it, thinking maybe he took the gloves off to shoot it, but then when he died, his gloves were back on. So we had to reshoot the one where he was dead without the gloves.
I think we were doing something to rip the gun out of his hand, and we were using a fishing line. We were using
his gloves.
So he gave her his gloves to not cut his hand, and then we forgot.
Who was your continuity director?
Not there.
There you go. That's why. So keeping continuity, and it can be things like the looks. So the continuity director often takes a lot of photos and make sure that hair and makeup and costumes match. They also the continuity director gets to sit with the director and the AD at the monitor and look for things on the monitors, problems, but they also keep the script in front of them. They're the ones who yell out if an actor gets a line wrong or an actor stops and says line. It's the script supervisor who yells out what the next line is. So kind of a multiple job, important job. So script supervisor. We've had some amazing ones over the years, and can teach you how to do that if you're interested. Yeah, Zoe's not here today. Production designer, it works with the director to design the overall look of the film. In our class, kind of the directors do that themselves, but hopefully we'll get some people who want to do it, can help the directors. But and then PAs, this production assistants, those people who help each of these people in the production department. So those are the jobs. Let's jump to camera. The number one job, the head of the camera department is who?
The director of photography.
Director of photography. The DP, as we call the person, is in charge of the look on film. And this day and age, a lot of DPs are also the camera operator. They are hands-on and they want to be behind the image. There are directors, though, who want to operate. They tend not to be the DPs. They don't control the lighting, but they want to do, especially handheld stuff. They want to be the ones who to make sure they're getting what they want out of the camera. But most often nowadays, the DP is the camera operator, but also makes decisions on things like the f-stop and the lighting and the look of the film. So the DP. We shoot on the RED camera. We will for almost all the projects this semester. We'll be shooting in 8K. Jason will probably be training those of you who want to learn. So you have to learn the camera, and it's kind of smart to work your way up if you want to be a DP. The first thing you want to do is get on the camera crew. So the first assistant, the first AC, works directly with the DP. The first AC's job is, it's kind of like an assistant, but you are in charge of lens swaps. The DP will say, hey, we have a 35, let's go with an 85. It's the first AC's job to swap lenses. Okay, we need to do a hot swap. Does anyone know what a hot swap is? Yeah, so the RED, we run off battery all the time, but we don't want to shut the camera down to change batteries. So we plug in AC power and swap out batteries. So we do a hot swap. That's the job. Oftentimes, if the DP is doing something, the first AC can roll camera or do things like that as well. If you have a very good first AC, that person can pull focus. That, in my opinion, is the hardest job on the set. Pulling focus is so hard. Yes. Now we have a manual side focus that we can use, but we also have a remote follow focus, which we will use a few times this semester. It is a remote control that controls a motor that turns the lens to focus. We also have that same controller control zoom and aperture because they're all professional lenses. It's complex to set it up, but that's the first AC's job, and it is incredibly difficult. It takes a lot of practice, but it's really fun to have your own personal monitor with edging on, and you can adjust focus from a distance. So the second AC will operate slate. What is slate? Yeah, so it's something that we continue to do even though I don't know anyone who really uses it anymore. It's from the days of film, when film and audio were recorded separately, and it's a visual, so you can see when the clapper on the slate closes and also hear that peak in sound. If you saw that in a waveform, it jumps up, so you can match the close of the slate and the peak of the audio file to match. This day and age, we jam time code, so you can just tell your software sync all files with time code, or now a lot of software will automatically sync file. You tell it's this video file, this audio file, and it'll sync it up for you. So
but the slate saved me in post before so many times for like we filmed at the beach, and it was hard to because the ambient noise of the waves going on in the background, and we didn't sync the stuff together, and so I had to find where that spike in the audio was or sync it to the audio of the actors, and it's not as easy to do that. So the slate saves the editor.
The thing that I like is when we roll camera, we always roll on the slate. So I can look at that file and know that this is scene 6, shot 13, and I know I can hear that on the slate, and I know. So it's important that we do that. But we do have time code on both video and audio files, and they can sync up. So we also, when it comes to the camera, we will have Steadicam shots, and the DP doesn't always use Steadicam because it takes a lot of practice. I end up doing a lot of those shots, but I would love it if someone wanted to take over. We have jib shots, which is kind of a 2-person job. We have dolly shots. We actually got a new torpedo pedestal for our dollies, which is kind of cool. And we fly a drone. We have drones in our program. You have to be licensed. And so quite honestly, we often make sure Geronimo is here with us. You'll meet Geronimo. He's sick today, but you'll meet Geronimo. But if anyone has a drone license or wants to get one, you can fly. I have mine, but the program has an 8-prop drone that can carry 220 pounds. So we can fly the red if we want. So anyways.
He's like, what's that falling?
No, you're gonna give me a nightmare. Data wrangling is another job. I can't tell you the number of nightmares you hear on set where they film something, it's great, and then it's lost in some ways. It happened a lot in film. Someone would open a canister and everything was exposed before it was developed. But we had an issue. I'll tell you about this one. It was probably my worst day. No, my second worst day. I gotta tell you about my worst day later. But we shot for the entire day before, and then for several hours one morning, and it was all on the Red Mag, which is a terabyte of footage, and it was all set. We were mostly done with the film. We had one more scene to do, and I remember we were shooting in the library, and a student said, can I get the red camera ready? Sure, okay, great. He turned it on, and he formatted the card. Everything we shot for a day and a half was gone.
Oh, no.
It was gone. And so for this class, I am the data wrangler. I'm the one who will take the footage, transfer it. I will have everything that we shoot stored on a hard drive, and then directors will give me a hard drive, and then I will copy it so that we have multiple copies. But you may not format without asking me. So always at the beginning of every shoot, we want to format the Red Mag, but don't do so without asking me first, because not always do I have time to offload. So, but that's a job. Videographer for our BTS. At every shoot, we have to have someone shooting behind the scenes, and we all have to take turns doing it. And it might be 2, 3, 4 of us doing it one day, but we do need to film that. It'll probably be with one of the Sony cameras. I'm pointing at this one right here. That's that we're shooting for the Zoom session. We're about to get $500,000 for new equipment, and so we're going to get, I think, the new Canon cameras. They're about $10,000 each, and that'll be what we get to use for our BTS. So I don't know how soon that happens. Things take forever in school, but we're getting some cool new stuff. But until then, we'll use these Sonys to shoot. But that's the video department. Any questions on any of those jobs? Okay, lighting. Who's the main person in charge of the lighting department? Gaffer. It is the gaffer. It is the gaffer who's in charge. The gaffer has the best boy key grip, and then a ton of grips who will help that person. I quite honestly, the lighting department work in spurts where we'll finish a scene and then, okay, we're changing this look. And then they work like crazy trying to, you know, work really fast and get it looking good. And then they sit around and wait until the next shot where they're going to work like crazy to hurry up and get it looking good and then wait. What I like is that we all do multiple jobs. So there might be a gaffer on a job, but there should be a best boy, key grip, and we should all be grips in helping get things done so that we're not having someone just be a grip and then sit around and wait for a long time. So for this class, we're all grips, and everyone needs to learn it. There will be a gaffer. That's the person that the DP will talk to about the look of the lighting. Hey, I want a stronger key. I want less fill. I want, you know, layers. Give me some light in the background or whatever. And it's the job of the gaffer to produce that. I think it's next week. Next week, we're going to talk about lighting. We're going to talk about 3-point lighting. And then I'm going to bring in a bunch of different types of lights, and we'll get to actually manipulate them and work with them so you feel comfortable working with the lights. So we're jumping right in next week. So I don't know how much we want to talk about it now, but that'll be a big part of it. Any questions on lighting? Oh, yes.
It's not all DMX, is it?
No, we're using incandescent lights. We'll use 1 and 2K lights. We're going to use dimmable fluorescence. We have new tube lighting, LED tube lighting with special effects. We use a lot of dimmable LEDs now, and we now have about a dozen of the Godox lights, and we can manipulate them all like you can the incandescent lights. So we'll have a variety of things. Audio. There is the mixer recorder. In this class, we use the F8, and anyone who's in the audio or anyone who's interested will get a training session on how to use the F8. And it is the mixer recorder. And we'll talk about XLR cables and all the microphones and lavaliers and boom shotgun mics and all of that. But there's the audio mixer, the boom operator or operators. We rarely will record with just one microphone. We often will have every actor laved up for their dialogue, and then we'll have them boomed for other sounds. And sometimes we'll have 2 or 3 booms going. We can record 8 regular XLR inputs and 4 minis at the same time. So we can have multiple audio recordings. And we're going to talk about all of this in 2 weeks. So we'll go over all the equipment and the things that you specifically do. I'm just going to rip through some of the other jobs. There's the art department, art director, prop master, set decorator, dresser, storyboard artist. Those are all key people in the art department. The directors will be doing a lot of that with some help. There's the makeup and wardrobe department. There's costume designer, hairstylist, makeup artist. Then there's the special effects, makeup artist, and wardrobe stylist. Those are all things. We're probably going to get Sophie to come in if we have any kind of special effects makeup that we want to do, or maybe get somebody from the cosmetology department to come join us. But if any of you have experience or interest, let us know and we'll put you to work or take advantage of your skills. Other departments where there's pyrotechnic and explosives, we don't do that very often. Only Trevor does that stuff. Special effects coordinator, stunt coordinator, We actually have been doing some fight scenes. Noah got his ass kicked last. No, I'm just kidding. No, David. Who won? They both. Okay. They fought. And so there was stunt work. So what?
There's also stunts for.
Yeah. And
No, it was the.
and they
improper
got
stunt
hurt.
Coordinator for that.
Raleigh just left because he's still feeling the pain. He fell on some rocks.
Jason with the.
Oh, yeah. I did like 19, 20 or something like that takes getting hit by an axe.
I told you we should have not used a real axe.
I wanted the visceral look, you know? I told her to use it.
Okay, other departments, location manager, location scout, craft services. Let's just talk about that really quickly. We're gonna have food at every shoot, and I'll tell you why. Most people get hungry about every 4 or 5 hours. If there is not food there, people leave. I gotta go get food, so I will try to always have snacks and then provide a meal. And if it's a large group, it's going to be pizza. If it's a smaller group, maybe burritos or sandwiches or something. But I don't eat sushi. So.
We're gonna turn you to a sushi.
No, you won't. Anyways, we got to have food and drinks there so that you know that people stay and have the energy to continue. Anyone wants to help me set that up each day or order or whatever, that's much appreciated. A transportation driver. Hollywood actors don't drive themselves anywhere, and so that type of thing happens on big productions. So those are all the departments for film. I focus clearly more on some because that'll be things we'll be doing, or those of you have an idea. But any questions about the jobs on a film set? All right. Yes.
I guess explain the editing situation. Maybe.
Okay, everything that I've been talking about is pre-production or production. Post-production is something completely separate. It's equally as important, but it's kind of another class. The things that we're talking about, there's the editing that footage, both the video and the audio. So there's an audio mix. There's color correction because there's going to be, and some people can do that in their editing software, Final Cut, Avid, Premiere, but then there are programs that are designed specifically for that, like DaVinci, which is the industry standard. And that's a big part of it. There is
DaVinci, the free app.
Yeah.
I use that.
That's the best. That's
no wonder it's expensive.
Yeah. It's free, but then you can pay for like an upgrade, but it's the industry standard.
The majority of the stuff is just free. I didn't need an upgrade until like starting to get into VFX stuff. So yeah. It's solid.
Yeah. And then there are things like musical scores. We have several musicians who are friends of the program. So if you want an original score, I can match directors with composers who can score your films. But also I subscribe to Artlist, which is a musical stock. Yeah, they have got thousands, hundreds of thousands of songs and sound effects that you can use for your film. So Foley and ADR is another thing that's done in post-production. We're going to talk about that here for the audio students. But I don't know if you know this, but it's somewhere between 90 and 97% of all audio you hear in big Hollywood films is done in post. They record essentially scratch tracks. They record so they know what the actors are saying, but the sound is not clean enough to use. And so the actors come back in and re-record everything they do. And there's a real talent in getting the same performance and the same exact timing, but they re-record that. All the other sounds, they Foley, footsteps, doors closing, and then there's special effects sounds like explosions or any robot sounds. Star Wars, the teams that work on just the audio sounds are extensive. So all of that's post-production, and we're not going to deal with a lot of that here. We'll do some of the audio stuff.
It's just like people like editing class or.
Yeah, so right. So Tim teaches the editing class in the spring, and then starting next year, it's going to be offered with single camera production, and they're going to offer it every semester. But I won't spend a whole lot of time. Is that a hand, or you just? Any other questions about the jobs on set? All right. Do we need to take a break, or do we get right into the pitch session? That's the pitch session. Yeah, should we? What do you want to do? Okay, break time. All right, so let's take 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and pitch. Those of you who are at home, thank you for joining. I don't know how well it would work to see the pitch session, but I will start posting the projects. Oh, by the way, anyone who wants to add the class, you absolutely can. I don't get ad codes until Monday, but send me an email and I will give you an ad code. And Seti, at home, you absolutely can add the class. I won't know. I'm looking at my laptop, but I won't know. I won't get the ad codes until Monday morning. Send me an email, or I'll try to save your email that you sent and give you an ad code. And then yes, you absolutely can. And yes, you can take the class as a hybrid. We call it a dual modality. So you can come when you want to and do the rest at home online if you want to. So if you can still hear me, it's so loud. There are 50 people in the room. Any other questions for those of you at home? Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Goodbye.